I'm Kate Macrae and I've taught here for nearly 20 years. I certainly think that children, I think they're born with an inherent love of the outdoors and an inquisitiveness and a love of exploring and being outdoors. And as they get older, and maybe as parents, we become a bit more protective about them in our environment and our culture now, that we stop letting them have that freedom. We're worried about them getting too dirty or picking up germs, and we start to almost work it out of them.
I think it's down to pleasure and enjoyment, and it's so much easier learning the outdoors than in a classroom. For example, the mind trips that we do can get so much geology, geography, social history, as well as adrenaline from doing a 4-hour underground trip up at Mented in one of the old lead mines, and can learn more in a day than they could learn weeks in school.
We've got to teach children how to write reports, how to write instructional texts. You make those bird feeders and then do your instructional text around those. You do a newspaper report about what's visiting, and suddenly you're bringing the curriculum all together, and you're using the stuff the kids love doing, and before they know it, you're teaching them and they don't even realise it, which is the best thing ever.
Benfield School, that's in the East End, their parent support worker rang us and asked if we could do something for a particular group of Year 8s and Year 9s that they're working with, who are poor attenders, close to exclusion, just all sorts of things going on at school. And I mean, it could just be any kind of open space, but the freedom that gives them, I think, to be themselves and to get away from all the pressures that they've got at home, to see a different side, they often give a lot more because they've got the freedom. They don't have anybody on their back saying you must add 2 and 2 and do their maths lessons or whatever it is. And you'll find that sometimes anyway, those that aren't great at school will be fantastic in the outdoors.
I live in Swaledale, and that's like in a city thing, and if it wasn't for the city project I wouldn't get out like I have today.
You get to go to different places and it's quite good because you get to connect with people that you haven't met before.
This is Hazel Farm in Swaledale, and we have opened for the last 18 or so years up to the general public and schools and groups in order to show them around the farm and explain how our farming system works and how their food is produced. We also take school groups. They come here and a lot of them have absolutely no idea of how their food is produced. Going through to the milking parlour a couple of years ago and explaining the system, one little boy got really excited and he said, "Miss, I've never had freshly squeezed milk before." And they say them amazing things, really.
Come on guys, visit Swaledale!
I'll go first. There's lots of nice views.
It's nice because it's not much noise.
Get a piece of paper.
You can go for a walk knowing that you're free. There's loads of areas to play in. And you've got wildlife.
Well, in the cities you can't really climb trees like you can in the country.
Instead of waking up to the sound of aeroplanes like you usually do in the city, you can wake up to the sound of a bird singing.
On a clear night, obviously, you can see more of the stars.
There's a lot of wildlife.
Sheep, rabbits, cows,
pheasants, birds, pigs, worms,
spiders,
dragons, flies.
These children are going to live in this environment, so they have to know that to protect it we have to reach out and tell other people how important it is. So there's the stewardship, if you like, of the environment. Well, we can do river studies. Between here and Reeth we have the river which is, the Swale is the fastest rising and falling river in Britain. So these children are aware of floods a lot, because the swell comes up, covers the roads. So we know about deposition, we know about rivers carrying and depositing silt, we know about rivers changing direction and changing shape, because when they change direction they come across our land. And we can look at different depths and speeds of rivers. We don't do stream studies and river studies.
I think children start off with that love of nature, and we need to nurture that and give them opportunities wherever we can for them to get out, because I feel it helps build a whole person.